Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor Holden and Ambassador Lin. Wonderful to be with you. In December, while speaking at a virtual conference hosted by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, I proposed to my very good friend, Dr. Wang Lei, the Director General of CAS, that they might consider collaborating with the U.S. Heartland China Association to identify ways both countries could, by working together instead of separately, successfully address three shared global challenges which will potentially affect every person on our planet. And in doing so, I noted, China and America could together build a brighter shared future for all humankind. Now, these three shared challenges are: first, can we produce sustainably sufficient nutritious food in order to feed the 9 to 10 billion people who will be on our planet by 2050? Second, can we overcome the changes being brought about by climate volatility and climate change? And third, can we, working together, prevent the spread of pandemic human and animal diseases? Now, to inspire the marvelous array of participants that both sides have put together for the next three sessions, we have the inspiration of three great figures from our country's agricultural legacy. Dr. Norman Borlaug, Nobel Peace Prize laureate, father of the Green Revolution, born in Iowa, attended the University of Minnesota, and taught for many years at Texas A&M University, all in the heartland. He's also the founder of the World Food Prize that I headed, and I had the great honor and distinction to work with him for 10 years. And on 2 days from now, we will celebrate the anniversary of his birth on March 25th. Most importantly for our event, he first traveled to China in 1974 to begin sharing American expertise and experiences with Chinese colleagues. Professor Yunlong Ping, the father of hybrid rice, in my opinion, the single greatest plant scientist alive on our planet today, and one of the greatest, if not the greatest, agricultural scientist in the history of China. He received the Medal of the Republic in 2019, presented by President Xi Jinping, and I'm very proud to serve as vice chairman of his International Rice Development Council. And George Washington Carver. Professor Carver, born in Missouri, was the first Black graduate of Iowa State University, and who then went on to a long and distinguished career at Tuskegee University in Alabama, and most significantly for this event, in 1929 until 1935, was an advisor to Mahatma Gandhi, just the type of international collaboration we seek in helping Gandhi be strong enough to lead the effort to throw off colonial rule of his country. Now, our heartland of in the United States, as represented by this wonderful Robert D. Ray Asian Garden here in Des Moines, Iowa, from which I'm speaking, symbolizes the long history of collaboration between individuals from the heartland and China, going back to the late 19th century, when Herbert Hoover was a mining engineer in Tianjin and lived there with his wife, and they learned to speak some Chinese. And later, as president of the United States in the White House, he and his wife would sometimes speak with each other in Chinese when they didn't want their guests to know what they were saying. Now, Henry A. Wallace, Vice President of the United States, also from Iowa, traveled to China in 1944 as China and America were allies in the great struggle of World War II. Edgar Snow, who famously wrote about the work of Chairman Mao Zedong in building the Communist Party of China, was from Kansas City, Missouri. General Claire Chennault, the commanding officer of the Flying Tigers, who also participated dramatically in World War II, was from Louisiana. And in 1979, Paramount leader Deng Xiaoping, visiting the United States after we established diplomatic relations, made a famous visit to Houston, Texas, here in the heartland. And a few months later, I had the great privilege to meet Deng Xiaoping in China when I visited Beijing and China for the first time. And this led to a remarkable number of events in which I got to participate. 1 year later, I was with Governor Ray when we welcomed Governor Shi Jiangsun of Guangdong province, who visited Iowa. Didn't know at the time that he was the father of the man who would later be president of China, Xi Jinping. In 2004, I presided at the ceremony at which Yun Longping received the World Food Prize from Dr. Borlaug in a very emotional and meaningful ceremony, again here in Des Moines, Iowa. And then in 2012, I had the incomparable privilege of welcoming then Vice President Xi Jinping, came to the Dr. Norman Borlaug World Food Prize Hall of Laureates to deliver the keynote address at the US-China High-Level Agricultural Symposium. And as I escorted him into the building, I got to tell him about having met his father and escorted his father around Iowa. And at that same event, US Secretary of Agriculture Tom Vilsack and Chinese Minister of Agriculture Han Changpu signed a strategic agreement on cooperation in agriculture. Now, Xi Jinping has visited this extraordinary relationship with the state of Iowa began in 1985, and we're very fortunate to have Sarah Landy, who served as host twice for President Xi Jinping when he visited Iowa with us tonight. And we also have this video for you to see about that extraordinary series of visits.